Click the link, guys, in the description below for a live reaction of obtaining this drop. It's pretty hilarious. What up, guys, it is Justice here. So I've just woke up on Bank Holiday Monday, thanking that it is Bank Holiday Monday so I can produce this video for you guys. I've got the day off today, so I want to be as productive as possible, and I came up with the idea of doing some aura reviews. So the first video of this mini-series will be on the Magic DPS role. And this video is also going to include a range DPS aura setup as well. Now, there isn't much difference between mage DPSing and range DPSing auras. The only difference really is the Supreme Runic accuracy versus the Sharpshooter aura. Sharpshooter is for range, Supreme Runic accuracy is for mage. I'm going to go through that in this video. The majority of this video, at the beginning, it will look as if it's just about mage DPSing. However, at the end, the last 2 minutes, I'm going to conceptualize everything linking to range DPSing as well. So as you can see in my inventory, I've got a few auras in here which I use. Now, I'm going to go into real depth with it. I'm not going to just explain what each aura is, because you can just go to the shop and check that out. What I'm going to do is actually talk around 3 bosses: Virago, Rise of the Six, and Kalphite King, because in my eyes, those are the 3 popular bosses in my clan, and they are the bosses which I go to mostly, except for the KK. So, I'm going to start off with Virago, and this video is prominently around mage DPSing and range DPSing, but at the beginning, guys, I'm going to be talking around the mage setup, including different boss fights and what auras I'd use there. So let's take a look at the first boss, let's say. So Virago, my favorite boss in the game, a boss which has brought so much content to RuneScape in my eyes, and it really has developed my gameplay over the past year or so, and essentially tripled my bank, even more than that, to be honest. So it's been great fun, love that boss so much, and since I've bought seismics, you know, mage DPSing there can be very fun. So when we look at the actual auras for DPSing at Virago, I'm going to put them in order in terms of which ones I think are best. So number 1 for me will be the Supreme Runic accuracy. So if we examine this aura, it gives you a 10% greater chance of offensive spells hitting the target. Now this is the Supreme, and I've just realised my alarm's gone off for my boiled eggs for breakfast, so be right back, guys, sorry about that. All of these are Supreme, by the way, so definitely work your way up to Supreme. The actual normal Runic accuracy only gives you a 3% bonus, so this gives you 10%. So let's have a look at Supreme Invigorate. After using an ultimate ability, you will retain 10% of your adrenaline bar. So essentially, this is just like the Ring of Vigor. So your Ring of Vigor, and it also stacks, so your Ring of Vigor will give you 10%, and then if you've got Invigorate active, after you use an ultimate, you will essentially start from 20% adrenaline, and then if you put an adrenaline pot as well at the same time, then you will literally be able to use wild magic virtually straight away. So that's a very, very good aura to have, especially at Virago, because you're using ultimate abilities consistently throughout the kill. The next one I would say at Virago is Dark Magic. Now this aura went through a recent buff. I don't know whether it's recent, like very recent, but it's definitely within the couple of months, I think. And it went through a buff where essentially your damaging magic has a chance to inflict corrupting damage to an opponent. So it's essentially a damage over time effect. Now this, I don't know the exact stats in terms of accuracy, damage, etc. of what it inflicts. However, it has been buffed, and from a collaboration of speaking to different people, they have agreed that Dark Magic is definitely up there now in terms of magic DPS auras. I've recently just bought this because it's absolutely amazing at Rise of the Six, which I'll get onto in a minute. So yeah, that would be the third aura I would say use if you haven't got Supreme Runic accuracy ready, if you haven't got Invigorate ready, if you're literally going on a crazy PVM afternoon or whatever, or PVM evening, and you run out of these 2, then go to Dark Magic next. Alright, guys, so now going on to the next boss, Rise of the Six, and I'm going to talk about, again in an order, 3 auras which I feel are very useful for DPSing at this boss fight. And again, this is a multi-way boss fight where you can go with 4 people, 3 other mates, sorry, 4 in total team. Again, one of my most favourite bosses on the game because of that social PVM aspect. So let's get straight into it, shall we? The first aura I would say is now best to use at Rise of the Six is Dark Magic. Now, you may be wondering why, and to be honest, this is, like I said, quite a recent buff to the aura, so not many people are using this in my eyes, I don't think. So the Dark Magic, again, we already know what it does because I went through it for Virago. However, I just want to focus on the damaging over time effect. Alright guys, so I decided to test this at the Lumbridge dummies, these beautiful little things which just let you rip them to shreds. I activated my Dark Magic aura and just start spamming the basic abilities. I'll soon use Wild Magic now, just look very carefully, because after Wild Magic is complete, I actually do genuinely stop attacking the dummy, however I'm still remaining combat, and the Dark Magic aura starts to play its part, and you'll see the damage over time hit. There's 440, then you'll see a 320, and then a 256. Now that's based on your magic level, and also the weapon which you're using. The formula you can see on RuneScape wiki. Now I'm going to go into depth of why that's useful at Barrow's Rise of the Six. So when you're at Rise of the Six, let's talk about the mechanics. You're at Rise of the Six, you run around, sometimes like a headless chicken, hopefully not like a headless chicken because you're actually concentrating and knowing what you're doing. But at times, you know, you may have to run around like crazy especially when there's 3 melee brothers, let's say, on one side for a rotation, and they both start spinning, you need to run away. Now, if you have this aura and it inflicts a damaging, corrupting damage over time effect onto one of the brothers, whilst you're running around, that's dealing more damage for you still. So you're not losing out on that DPS whilst you're legging it around trying to dodge those spinners or trying to dodge Carol's bomb. You know, all those different mechanics within Rise of the Six, which can make it hard to DPS if you're not experienced at it. So Dark Magic, even when you're experienced at it, will help you a lot at this boss. So I'd say putting that as priority when you go on Rise of the Six. Second to this, of course, is Supreme Runic Accuracy again. This aura is just an all-round generic amazing aura for DPSing at any boss throughout RuneScape, obviously when you're using a magic setup. The next aura after that, I would say, is Inspiration. Now, I'm not going to say Invigorate because when you're at Rise of the Six, you're not using ultimate abilities that much. The majority of the time, you will use an ultimate when it's the last brother you've got to kill at the end, when you've left that brother full LP, so you and your teammate can absolutely rip it to shreds. So that's what I would say. So Invigorate really isn't one you should be using at Rise of the Six. Inspiration, however, if we have a look at this and examine it, your successful attacks fill an additional 0.5% of your adrenaline bar. So that comes in very handy because it's a consistent aura again. And when you're at Rise of the Six, you do need that consistency. And if it's helping you get to those thresholds a bit quicker whilst you're running around, then it's beneficial for you. So I would say Dark Magic, Supreme Runic Accuracy, and then Inspiration for when you're doing Barrow's Rise of the Six with a magic setup. Now guys, I'm just going to go over to the store, and for this one, I'm going to go into the Kalphite King boss now. I'm going to open up the shop, and I'm going to go straight to Tier 2 auras. I'm going to go down to Equilibrium. This aura can be very effective at the Kalphite King, and you might be wondering why. Well, I'm going to tell you why. The reason is Equilibrium, it increases your minimum hit by 25%. However, it decreases your maximum hit by 25%. Now, the benefit of that, you might ask, well, Kalphite King, you have a max cap in terms of damage you can deal with each hit. Now, a lot of people, the exact amount is quite skeptical. However, many people believe it's around 5.7k damage. If you guys know the exact amount and can prove that in any way, video footage, blah, 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 then write in the comment section, that'd be great to see. Now, another benefit is the actual cost of Equilibrium. It's 23,000 loyalty points, which when you compare it to Supreme auras, things like that, which yes, technically are better in the long run, Equilibrium for 23,000 loyalty points is a very good value for what you're actually getting out of it. It can also last for 2 hours, so you can keep it for quite a while on that Kalphite King trip if you go in there for some time. And traditionally, guys, the Equilibrium aura is used for killing low-level monsters, so when you're grinding out a combat skill training, and therefore the minions, it will come in very useful there when you're increasing your minimum hit and you're not actually needing to max out your hit, so you're not wasting damage. Also, Vampirism can also be quite a useful aura as well, due to the fact that it can heal you up when you are hitting Virago, and therefore it may help you last there a bit longer or eat less. You gain life points equal to 5% of any damage you deal. And then of course, you know, if you've not got those auras or if you haven't got them active, which, you know, Equilibrium, I can't see you using that at any of the bosses really. If you do have any idea where else you could use that aura, feel free to comment down below because I'm unsure of that one. However, then again, obviously you've got Supreme Runic Accuracy, again, generic aura, works everywhere. And then Supreme Invigorate can be quite useful at KK if you want to get that wild magic out quickly, just before KK switches an attack, for example. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I will make another one of these, probably for tanking. Thanks a lot guys, and I'll see you in my next video. And just before I head off guys, on the left hand side is a spotlight video, a similar sort of content to this video, mage DPS, bank preset and loadout guide, and on the right hand side is my previous video on this channel, the 5th episode of Slayer Sundays, where I achieved level 97 Slayer and gained 1.6 million experience over 2 days. And if you're a new viewer, welcome to my channel. It's great to have you here. Bottom left hand corner, click Virago's face to subscribe. See you guys.